Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're going to be talking about the one and only Turbo Coin, ladies and gentlemen. If you do want to join the Discord, the code FRESH is still active, 33.3% off for the next 24 hours. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, right? In terms of actual Turbo news, I have not seen anything from Turbo themselves, right? We can see there are a couple of posts which we got to like, right? Just to get those interactions up. So you got to remember, this is a community driven coin. There's no official team members. There's no official this. There's no official that. No one's sponsored. No one's anything, right? This is a community thing. So when you leave comments on videos, when you leave likes on, like, even let's say my videos, if you leave likes on the Twitter page of Turbo, leave comments there, retweets, whatever it may be, or just simply tweet, the $ Turbo, you are part of the growth. Okay, you are part of the foundation. That is just the reality. Okay, you got to remember that Turbo, all of this is happening because of all the noise that we made together, right, as a community. And I'm not just talking about the snipers, I'm talking about people that have been here before me talking about Turbo. I'm talking about people that have been consistently talking about Turbo, interacting with Turbo, people that are community members that interact with the Twitter page or are part of the Twitter page or run the Twitter page, right? All those people that have been making stuff happen behind the scenes possible. It is all to these people, all these community members, right? So just got to say thank you to them, and obviously thank you to us for continuously supporting the coin, right? Your view, your like, your comment on any type of channel, talking about Turbo or social media page will always, always, always boost Turbo. Listen, right? We are 144th in the world. We are currently at 388 million market cap. We are at 170 million volume, so pretty damn nice. Little weird change from Coinbase. It's throwing me off a little bit, but not that big of a deal. When we go in terms of holders, ladies and gentlemen, we can see we are kind of flattening out, possibly going to lose a little bit, but it doesn't really matter. You know us, red day, red week, pullback, a little bit of a scare or whatever, lose like what, 20, 50 at most, and then what, gain a couple hundred over the next couple weeks, or weeks even. So it doesn't even matter, right? It does not even matter. When we go and we look at the technical analysis, ladies and gentlemen, right? If we pull up Turbo, I want to talk about two things. We're going to talk about Turbo and we're going to talk about Bitcoin. We're going to start with Bitcoin for just a second because Bitcoin is the head of the snake, which we do have to cover. We can overall see, though, if we go to our portfolio and some of the coins we cover consistently on the channel, pretty nice sea of red, if I do say so myself. But that is okay, ladies and gentlemen. That is okay. We can see I have certain zones marked up, and it is for a reason. So first off, right, we can see that boom, we tapped, we went to 105,000, almost 106,000, but we closed low over here. So we were consistently making lower highs. You can see yesterday that we did break below the big trend line, right? We broke below it. And not only that, but we also started to close below this relevant zone. So that is not good. That is showing signs of reversals. However, right, if we go and look at these zones, we can see that there are multiple zones marked up for a reason, which is very, very relevant. And, it is going to affect Turbo because it is up to obviously Bitcoin on where it wants to go. So first, number one, right, we have this diagonal trend line. We can see diagonally, we did tap off it, but we did have a decently, I wouldn't call it a strong close, a decently okay close, but it's still fairly bearish. Okay, it is still fairly bearish, which means we could get possible pullbacks all the way even down to 98K. If that were the case, right, boom, boom, 4%. Yesterday we covered in a different video where we saw, Bitcoin go down 4% and Turbo went down roughly 12%. So if we were going to get some type of, similar type equation, then we could be seeing a pullback for Turbo, boom, 0.004849 area, right? That is the main area for Turbo. Overall, I do not believe with Turbo we will be breaking out of this zone. I do not believe with Turbo we will be breaking out of the 0.0041 zone because, ladies and gentlemen, it is such a big retracement. Bitcoin would literally have to go back down to sweep the 91,000, which would be a big, big, big pullback for something like Bitcoin, right? And then maybe at that point we can go below this zone, sweep it. really doubt we're coming back to the 0.003 unless we will be consolidating with Bitcoin over the next couple of weeks, kind of ranging between certain zones, which I will show you in just a second, right? If we do end up going back down, right, the main level I think we will bounce off of, because it is the most relevant and because it's very, very strong, is this zone of 98K. In the event where we are wrong and we do go lower, then if something like this drops, 10%, then we could expect Turbo to drop that 40%. But it is very, very unlikely. Generally, it is very, very unlikely. Okay. We do see, however, on the 3-month Bitcoin chart that the order block candle is here. So the yellow line, when we go and look, it is actually down at the 93,500. But overall, if we do just have price action above the 93,500, that means we are in extremely, extremely bullish territory. And we are technically making a head and shoulders, but in reverse, right? We have the shoulder over here. We're going to have structure over here. And then we have the head over here. And the reverse head and shoulders is one of the strongest patterns you can absolutely have in terms of bullish momentum to the upside. Okay, so all this micro moves at the end of the day don't really matter to me. If there's pullbacks, I'm buying. Okay, if it continues just to be really aggressive, I'm chilling. It's that simple, right? I am not doing anything on the micro level in terms of trying to flip a quick bag. I believe those days are kind of over, and they're very, very risky, because I know over the next couple of weeks, few short months, we will be breaking this zone and already starting to expand. Okay, so we have to be careful with the actions that we do in terms of the market, right? That is for Bitcoin, but let's see Turbo once again in terms of its price action. I did say the lowest point should be the yellow, right? If we were completely wrong and we did get a full-on liquidity sweep, this would make sense. I will have a sniper buy entry here just in case, but I'll also have some buying opportunities and entries right around this area. Okay, this is my main area. Does it have to hit there 100%? No, not necessarily. Okay, there is one probability that we will talk about too, is that if Bitcoin decides to kind of respect and chill amongst this trend line, right? Maybe fake out a little bit lower, go back down to like 99, 100K, because we got to remember 100K is a big psychological area. Then we are just going to be getting fake outs. And if we get fake outs, Turbo will not drop too much, right? Turbo might drop down to this area over here. Generally, right, we can see it is actually between two nice support and resistance zone. So we can see 0.004948 is where we would be looking to go, right? 12% retracement, upwards of 15%. And that is also a great buying opportunity. In general, though, even if you bought right now and it went down, I would not be scared, right? Because we still believe Turbo can definitely hit 10 billion market cap. So if you were to buy now, you would be looking roughly at what, like 25x more or less in this current position. So, not bad from the Toad itself. But yeah, that is overall it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy. A few probabilities, but overall, we are taking it one step at a time. If you want consistent and very quick updates, make sure to join the Discord. 24 hours left with the code FRESH for 33% off. Limited spots. Guys, I love you so much, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.